We all like to have a drink on the weekend with the barbecue as a social gathering, having a beer or a glass of wine. But little do we know what effects alcohol actually has on our body, in particular in regards to weight gain. Does it have an effect on weight gain? Will alcohol make me fat? That is exactly the question that I want to be answering today and talking in this episode. Number one, what I'm going to go through is what is alcohol, to get an understanding of what actually alcohol is. And then I'm going to go through and give you an understanding of if alcohol contributes to fat gain and how it contributes. I'm going to go into the science of it. And at the end, I'm going to give you tips on how you can ensure that when you do have your alcohol, it doesn't contribute to your fat gain. Let's get into it. Today's topic is going to be an absolutely interesting one. Let's get into it. It's Mondays with Mihaela. That's right, me. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love, and appreciate your support. Thank you so much for giving me the support to run this podcast, to run this segment. For any of you who don't know me, my name is Mihaela. I'm a qualified naturopath and I'm absolutely passionate about all things health, business, and overall success. And today's segment, Mondays with Mihaela, is all about providing you with simple, savvy, and sustainable health hacks to optimize your health. And today's an interesting one. As business professionals, we work so hard, but then what happens at the end? We decide, you know what, let's have a glass of wine. That glass turns into a bottle of wine. That one drink of beer turns into a carton of beer. We do like our alcohol. We like it to relax, to indulge, to enjoy it with a nice dinner. But the question is does alcohol impact weight gain, overweight, and obesity? Is there a link to it? That is my question today, and that is what I want to be answering in today's episode. So let's get straight into it. So I want to start off with a little bit of information about alcohol and its link with weight gain. So when you consume alcohol, right, it first enters the digestive system. Alcohol isn't digested like food and other drinks. It's totally different, right? 20% of alcohol from a single drink moves directly to the blood vessels, right? From there, it's carried to your brain. The rest of the 80% of alcohol goes into your small intestine, then directly to your bloodstream. The final step of alcohol's life cycle is your beautiful liver, where your liver detoxes it and makes it from a harmful substance to a non-harmful water substance, waste for it to be removed out of your body. Any issues that you may have with your liver will cause this to not occur as efficiently as it should be. And an interesting note is also, right, when we're talking about protein, carbohydrates, fats, we're thinking about calories, right? For 1 gram of protein or carbohydrates, you have 4 calories. And it's 9 for fat. But what is it for alcohol? For alcohol, it's an interesting 7.1. Very, very interesting, right? Because it is not like carbohydrates or protein, nor is it like fat. It has its own little system that it works on, and it's differently in our body. It's digested in a much different way. Like I said, in the first one, it goes to your bloodstream, small intestine, released, and then released out through your liver. So the thing is, it's still controversial whether moderate amounts of alcohol represent a risk factor for weight gain and obesity. It's thrown up in the air. Some people are saying yes, some people are saying no, some people are saying it has absolutely no effect. Epidemiological data shows a positive, negative, and no relationship between alcohol and body weight. Every component of the energy balance equation is affected by the ingestion of alcohol, right? So moderate amounts of alcohol actually enhance energy intake due to the calorie content of alcohol, which was 7.1, as well as its appetite enhancing effects. So it makes you hungrier, right? Alcohol-induced thermogenesis is approximately 20% in healthy non-alcoholic individuals. So what that means is alcohol increases your thermogenesis, which increases your metabolism, which makes you hotter. So the thing is that's what alcohol does in a sense. It increases thermogenesis, which means you're burning more off. So this will suggest that a major fraction of the alcohol energy represents an available energy source for ATP synthesis in moderate non-alcoholic consumers, right? Very interesting, right? Then the experimental evidence from several metabolic studies show a suppression of lipid oxidation by alcohol and thus an enhancement of a positive fat balance. So the thing is, the non-oxidized fat is preferably deposited in the abdominal area. So that's why a lot of people have a bee belly, or individuals that drink beer have a bee belly. The experimental metabolic evidence suggests that the consumption of moderate amounts of alcohol has to be accounted for in the energy balance equation and may represent a risk taker for development of positive energy balance of weight gain, thus weight gain, right? Positive. So in heavy alcohol consumers, and eventually also in daily moderate alcohol consumers, a large fraction of the alcohol energy might not be available source of energy, the ATP, due to the induction of the microsomal ethanol oxidizing system, also known as the MEOS. Experimental data in combination with epidemiological findings suggest that alcohol energy counts more in moderate non-daily alcohol consumers than in some moderate, daily, and heavy consumers. So this is a little bit of information, a bit all over the place. I know you're probably like, oh my gosh, what does all this mean? Essentially what this means, it's saying that alcohol has a positive, neutral, and a negative effect in regards to weight gain. It's a bit all over the place, depending how much alcohol you drink, how often, and how your liver's working, and so many other things to take in consideration. But before this episode, this podcast, what I'm doing is I'm going to give you the information later on. Bear with me. After I go into what is alcohol, I'm going to give you the knowledge and information why I would believe that alcohol can contribute to weight gain. So just bear with me. It's so interesting. But before we get into that, let's get an understanding of what is alcohol. I know a number of us have drank it, we like it, and we consume it. But what is it, and how does it affect our body? When we talk about alcohol, it usually means the alcohol found in beer, wine, and spirits. Yeah, alcohol is the ingredient in these drinks that makes you drunk. The alcohol in drinks is called ethanol, right? And it is made from yeast fermented sugars in grains, fruits, and vegetables. Alcohol is further a depressant drug, which means that it slows down the activity of the central nervous system and the messages going between the brain. So this is why a lot of business professionals absolutely love alcohol, because they're always go. They're always thinking. But then what's happening is it's slowing down the messages, which means they can finally go, finally take a breath and enjoy life without all those thoughts. That's why. Another interesting thing about alcohol is alcohol beverages don't have nutritional labels on them like other foods. So we're kind of like, what are we taking in? But in addition to that also, alcohol is not a nutritional supplement, which means it doesn't really have nutrients in it. It doesn't have minerals or vitamins in it, most of it, that other food like broccoli would have, right? So the body stores proteins as muscles. It stores carbohydrates as fat, as both glycogen in the liver and in the muscles, and as fat deposits in our adipose tissue. And as many of us know, we all know that, we're much aware of it. But what we do not know is that alcohol can actually not be stored in our body. This is an interesting point. Remember that alcohol cannot be stored in our body. So alcohol is one of the most popular psychoactive substances in the world, and it is legal in most countries, so figure that. It can have a powerful effect on mood and mental state. So once alcohol's entered into your bloodstream, your body will start metabolizing it at a rate of 20 milligrams per hour. This means that roughly, if you're taking in a small shot of liquor, it'll take about an hour to metabolize, remove it out of your body. A pint of beer, 2 hours. A large glass of wine, 3 hours. A few drinks, several hours. Okay, so remember the point that the point that we cannot store alcohol, the energy of the alcohol, we need to use it up. So it's a preferred source compared to if we're having carbohydrates, protein, or fats at the same time. Okay, this is something that we have to remember. Okay, so let's get into the processes that I believe. The question is, does alcohol contribute to fat gain? The answer simply to me is yes, okay? And I'm going to give you why I believe that and why I have come up with that conclusion, that yes, alcohol does contribute to fat gain, to obesity in some individuals. Okay, so let's go with number one, which is abdominal obesity. What abdominal obesity is visceral fat, which is found around our organs, around our abdominal area. So what occurs, that fat, the more fat goes, the more our organs are compressed, right? Which is very dangerous, very dangerous. So alcohol consumption is elevated amongst amount was associated with risk of abdominal obesity in men independently of energy unreported. So this is saying men who were obese had a higher alcohol consumption. So that's one study relating it there. The other one, that how alcohol can contribute to fat gain is appetite stimulant, right? So when we have alcohol, it stimulates our appetite. So it's kind of like, those individuals that don't have an appetite, well, especially the elderly, what is suggested from them for a number of doctors, naturopaths, so forth, it's suggested that they have a little bit of alcohol. The French term for it is apéritif, I think. I don't know French, so it's something along those lines, which means to open your appetite, to get it going. So that's why wine for a lot of people is used with their dinners, because some individuals don't have an appetite, especially the elderly. Okay, so the next one is also, it's like I said earlier, it's empty calories. Alcohol has no or limited nutrients in it, which doesn't provide us with the minerals, vitamins, the things that we need for optimal health. So it's known as an empty calories drink. So it's like, why are you drinking those empty calories? Even though there's so many calories, they are empty. They're not nutritious for us. The other one is primary fuel, right? So when alcohol is consumed, it's burnt first as fuel source before your body does anything else. This includes glucose from carbohydrates and fats, right? So it is going to burn your alcohol first compared to anything that you've eaten, right? So when your body is using alcohol as a primary source of energy, the excess glucose and lipids end up, unfortunately for many of us, as adipose tissue, as fat. So if you go out on a night, and you're getting that pizza and you're having the alcohol, it's going to burn the alcohol first. So how many calories? 7.1 calories per gram is going to burn that off first before you're going and having that pizza, right? It's before it's going to burn off any of those calories from the pizza. So it's a primary fuel source. The other reason that I believe that it contributes to fat gain is fatty liver, right? The liver is an organ which helps us break down and remove harmful toxins and substances from our body, including alcohol. So long-term alcohol interferes with this process. It is also increased your risk for chronic liver inflammation and liver disease. The scarring caused by inflammation is known as cirrhosis, the formation of scar tissue on your liver and destroying those cells. As the liver becomes increasingly damaged, it is harder for it to remove toxin substances from your body, such as alcohol. Alcohol can contribute to fatty liver, which in turn can also affect your body's metabolism and fat. So if we're drinking alcohol, it has to go through our liver. We have a little bit, we have a bit more. Our liver is getting damaged. We need our liver to help with body's metabolism, to remove any toxins. Therefore, if we have more toxins in us, we have more fat tissues in us, and our body is unable to function at an optimal level that it is supposed to, and have the homeostasis and leave us in a balanced weight where we work optimally, right? So this is where fatty liver can contribute to obesity and weight gain. The other one is testosterone, right? Yes, you might think, it's only for males. It's also for females too, right? So alcohol affects all sex hormones, in particular testosterone. So low levels of testosterone can provide development of metabolic syndrome. So what is metabolic syndrome? Issues with your insulin, which can later on lead to diabetes. So this is saying the lower your testosterone levels, right, the more of a chance you have to have metabolic syndrome, metabolic issues. But if you have metabolic issues, a lot of individuals who have metabolic issues are obese or have extra weight on them that they need to lose to live optimally. The other one is sleep, okay? You know how much I talk about my sleep, and you know how much I love my sleep, right? So the study of alcohol effects on sleep dates back to the early 1930s. Research suggests that alcohol can lead to increased periods of wakefulness during sleep cycles, right? Sleep deprivation, whether from lack of sleep or impaired sleep, can lead to an imbalance in the hormones related to hunger, satiety, and energy storage. This is so important because alcohol, a lot of people take alcohol and they believe that they're sleeping better, okay? They may not, due to a number of reasons, including one of them being alcohol increasing the thermogenesis, increasing the heat in your body. You don't want your body to be too hot, because when it's too hot, it's not sleeping well. What happens when you don't sleep well? You mess up all your hormones. What happens when you mess up all your hormones? It's not all aligned. It's not the way it's supposed to be. So the next day you'll be craving that pizza even more than you usually would. You'll be craving those energy, those sugary foods more than you would. What does that lead to? Obesity and weight gain, right? Extra weight on us that we do not need. When you don't have a good night's sleep, you're wanting that quick energy, that quick fix. What does that lead to? Extra weight on us that we don't need. Okay, so that's the link with sleep and alcohol and obesity. The other one is digestion and nutrient uptake. I love this because this leads to decreased digestive secretion and movement of food through the GIT tract. Alcohol intake of all levels can lead to impaired digestion and absorption of these nutrients. They can greatly affect metabolism of organs that play a role in weight management. Okay, so depriving your body of nutrients, so this is what happens when you drink alcohol, because unfortunately when you have alcohol you can have deficiencies of vitamin A, deficiencies of vitamin C, vitamin D, and also K, and also all of the B vitamins. It can also lead to a deficiency in calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium. These minerals and vitamins are all cofactors for so many functions in our body, especially ones also with metabolism, right? To ensure that our food is breaking down and we're getting the energy that we need. So if we're drinking alcohol, we are depleting our body from these minerals and vitamins, which means we're not digesting our food the way it's supposed to be. We're not getting the minerals and vitamins from the food that we eat when we're supposed to. And this is all just because we've had some alcohol. The other one is sugar levels, right? Sugar. We all love a little bit of sugar. So when pancreas helps regulate your body's insulin use and response to glucose, when your pancreas and liver aren't functioning properly, you run at the risk of experiencing low blood sugar. A damaged pancreas may also prevent the body from producing enough insulin to utilize sugar, because you need insulin for your body to make use of sugar. This can lead to too much sugar in your blood. If your body cannot manage and balance your blood sugar levels, you may experience greater complications and side effects related to diabetes. It's important for people with diabetes to avoid excess amount of, or even low or high blood sugar levels. It's important to avoid excess alcohol. So this is very interesting, especially if you're having a drink that has a lot of sugar, like if you're having one of those vodka drinks with the sugary water, like that's what we call it, a sugary water drink, sugary water alcohol. If you're having anything of that, imagine what that's doing to your pancreas. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to release so much insulin to make use of this sugar. And it's going to make use of that sugar before the alcohol, before anything else, right? So there's the risk of running into issues of metabolic syndrome. The next one, this is the last one and the most important one that I believe is the most important one. I'm not saying any of the other ones aren't important. They absolutely are. But this is the one that I'm most concerned about. This is the one that I believe impacts the individual at a high level. And that is the gut microbe, okay, and alcohol. The gut microbe and alcohol, the link between that, I could just do an episode just on that because it is dramatic. It's intense, okay? Because the gut is the largest reservoir for microorganisms in your body. I said it. There you go. I said it. It includes tens of trillions of microbe cells belonging to several different species, which is approximately 10 times the number of somatic cells in the human body, and they carry more than 3 million unique genes. Okay. In particular, alterations to the microbiota homeostasis have an impact not only on alcohol-related liver disorders, remember the fatty liver, how liver is included with all that, but they're also being associated with type 2 diabetes, obesity, inflammatory bowel disease, irritable bowel syndrome, celiac disease, cancer, and many other. Alcohol consumption, along with the Western diet filled with animal fats and sugars, bowel movement frequency, genetics, and distribution and disruption to a circadian rhythm can propose to dysbiosis. Dysbiosis being a whack out of a non-balance of the bacteria in your body. This can demonstrate in a large number of studies. So this is saying that alcohol consumption is responsible for an imbalance of bacteria in your small intestine, right? Or in your large intestine. So what happens is usually we're supposed to have a balance of about 80-20, roughly. 80 good guys, we'll call them good guys. 20, we'll call them bad guys, right? So we're supposed to have a balance of that. At any stage that becomes imbalanced and it goes to 60-40, for example, 60 bad, 40 good, there is an imbalance. And when there's an imbalance, your body's not working at an optimal level. And what is happening then is you are not producing the energy that you need. You're not absorbing the minerals and vitamins that you require. You're not breaking down the fats, the protein, the carbohydrates, the sugars that you're eating. Therefore, it may be used, and you're not using it up, and it may be used for adipose tissue, right? And then you have alcohol, which just does that. That's what alcohol does. It makes an imbalance in your gut microbe. It reduces the good branch bacteria and increases the bad ones. So the bad ones crave more sugar. What happens when you crave more sugar? Your insulin is just all over the place. You are predisposed to diabetes. Then you're not sleeping well. Then your hormones are out of whack. Your liver is calling out, help, help, because it's trying to remove the toxins. It is just chaos, right? Absolute chaos in your body. So think about this. So I've mentioned here the gut microbe. I've mentioned sugar levels. I've mentioned diet and the uptake of nutrients. I mentioned sleep, sex hormones such as testosterone, fatty liver, how alcohol is used as primary fuel, which means the rest is being deposited as fatty tissue, how alcohol is empty calories, how it's an appetite stimulant, and how it contributes to abdominal obesity. So those are the things that I've mentioned, right? But let's take this. What does that look like in real life? Okay, so let's imagine this, right? You had a hectic day at work, absolute hectic. You're just like, oh my gosh, I just need some time out, right? So what you do is you go, I'm going out with the boys or girls or both, all right? You get ready, you have a few drinks whilst you're getting ready, have a few drinks, pump some music. Let's say 10 o'clock, you start going out. You make them out, you stay out till about 4, 5, 6 a.m. During that time, you have about, let's say, 10 standard drinks. Remember, one glass of wine takes about, I think it was 3 hours. You have 10, that's 30 hours for this alcohol to be removed out of your body. That's just one thing, right? So you have that, but then what happens is, you're dancing, there's light, there's sounds, your sympathetic nervous system is dramatically activated. This light going in your eyes, blue light, all these different lights. The sound is so loud, which is making you be on edge and activated. Drinking the alcohol, you may be smoking, you may not be, you're dancing, you're out there, you're talking, it hits 3, 4 a.m, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry, right? Because the alcohol is doing its thing, it's increasing your appetite. So what you do then is you go, let's go get a pizza, let's go get a kebab, let's get chips, let's get whatever I can get my eyes onto, let's get some food in me, right? But this time you haven't even metabolized a third of your alcohol that you've taken in. So the energy and the food that you're taking in now is going to be stored as fat later on, as adipose tissue, because it's still trying to remove the calories, the energy consumption that you've had from the alcohol, because that's your first choice, because it cannot be stored. Remember, it cannot be stored. So this pizza, this amazing pizza, is now part of your abdominal fat around your organs that easily, right? You get home about 5 a.m., 6 a.m. You're like, I'm going to go to sleep. But you can't sleep because you're so revved up. Your sympathetic nervous system is so revved up. You're still digesting your food. You're feeling not so well. let's say you have a couple of hours sleep, if anything. Some people get more, but it's not deep sleep. It's not good quality sleep. Your circadian rhythm now is upside down, where you're sleeping during the day and you're awake at night, which messes with your hormones, with your ghrelin, leptin, and so forth. And then all your next day, all you're craving is sugar again, right? Which is not assisting with your liver function, because your liver is still trying to remove those toxins. So that is just one night out. That's what your body has to go through. How much shock you put your body through going out that one night, right? And I'm just trying to explain to you that that is going to add on to fat gain and obesity at a simple level. There's so many other things taken into consideration. But if you're going out and having a binge drink and then eating out later, that in itself is going to impact it on a number of levels in your body. So I'm not saying don't go out. I'm just saying be aware of what is happening in your body, and then it's up to you to make your decision on your lifestyle, on your life, on what you're going to do. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I hope I gave you a little bit of more information on how alcohol impacts you, or can impact you, in a weight gain aspect, right? So now let's look at 3 ways that you can avoid alcohol making you fat or adding to your obesity or to your fat velocity around your belly. Okay, so number 1 is don't drink alcohol. I know you're waiting for that one, weren't you? Just don't drink alcohol. There is absolutely no safe amount of alcohol to consume that's considered safe. Alcohol has been identified as toxic to the human body, right? As toxic to the human body. There's a number of reasons why you might be like, oh, why is it even legal? But that's a different story. So number 1 is don't drink alcohol, right? Number 2 is, if you are going to drink alcohol, please make sure that you know what you are drinking and how much you're drinking, okay? And the reason why I'm saying this is a lot of individuals go, I'm drinking low-carb beer. I'm drinking sugar-free wine. Well, are you? Are you? What is it? It's marketing at its best. I know that it's marketing at its best. What are you actually taking into your body? Please know what you're taking into your body. And there's so many other things that you can take in consideration, such as organic, as is it or not. Like, I will not touch probably wine that's not organic, because grapes are dramatically sprayed. They're sprayed with herbicides, pesticides, right? And unless these grapes are grown organically, I probably won't touch it, because not only is the alcohol being added for my liver to remove, my liver now has to remove herbicides, pesticides, and so forth, right? Let's think about that also. So number 2 is know what you're drinking, okay, if you are drinking. Number 3 is, if you have drank in the past or you are going to drink, please ensure that your gut microbe is on point, that your good bugs and bad bugs are leveled up, that it is working absolutely amazing. Because when you are going to ingest that alcohol, it is going to chuck your microbiome out of whack. So you need to ensure that it's back in place. So go on a gut clearance, go on a gut detox, work with a health professional to ensure that your gut's on point, that you don't have SIBO or FIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or fungal overgrowth. Ensure that your gut is working the way it's supposed to be, because that is key for optimal health. There you have it. I know we all enjoy a wine, a beer here and there, but this is for you to understand how it can impact your weight gain and your body. So there you have it. I hope that made sense. I hope that you got some information. If you know someone who's interested in this topic about alcohol, share this episode with them. Do what you do best. Love, like, share, comment, rate, review. Thank you so much. Until next Monday, love you.